Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Factorio Heavily Modded. We just finished off the phenol production. We are continuing to work towards green science tech cards, which would be called logistics tech cards. But we're working towards that right now. We're putting the Coke into a box just to kind of, get rid of it. But anyway, I'm attempting a fluid connection here, but we don't have the proper thing researched. We could research it now, but instead we're just going to take the phenol and run it outside and we're going to balance it here, but we're going to run it outside to turn it into baked light instead of keeping it inside this building. We probably will eventually put everything back into buildings, but for now, see, it takes 100 tech cards, so we're going to go and start researching that, and we will have that researched, but we're still not going to put it the way we with a fluid connection yet. So for now, we're going to run it right out here. We're going to just tack on another couple chemical plants here on the just fixing up this belt, but we're just going to tack on another couple chemical plants here, letting that coal run out on that belt before we go and finish that there. Just connecting these up to create Bakelite, our beginning plastics here. So you can see the coal slowly depleting off of that belt, and then we're going to just pull it out here on the sides and run it around and through. It's, obviously that's not going to work, so we're actually going to run it down and then over through here just to connect it up to one belt. We're also going to balance that as well, I think. Or maybe we just leave it as that for now. I think we just leave it as that for now. So we're now going to work on the other production here that we need. Just running some more drills. I think the lead production, yeah, we're working on the lead production. Adding more drills to lead. And I think finding out that we don't have enough lead for this. Or we just barely do for the moment. But we will need to expand to more lead patches at some point in the near future. So that is something very important that needs to happen at some point and will have to happen before too long. But for now, we're just running the lead onto this belt. But we're going to bring it back up to our factory buildings. I believe to turn it into solder, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, I've got something in my throat there. Anyway, I just wanted to delete those walls, get them out of the way. Kind of were annoying to me. Yeah, so we need to turn them into solder along with tin. So we're going to connect the tin miners here. We're going to run it all up together. 3 long belts, tin, ore, lead, ore, and iron plates. Just going to quickly copy those and let the nanobots place them down. Really, it probably would have been faster to do it myself and conserved resources in the fact that we wouldn't be spending nanobots to do that. But it's not a big deal. We're just going to underground belt the iron right here so that we can pull these resources on through. We're going to grab another building to use to smelt them in. Because we have to smelt them, of course, before we can use them. So we're going to put it over here. Now that this is finally cleared off, we can connect that back up. And right next to this other building, we're going to place another one to put smelting of lead and tin in it, and I believe actually a bunch more stuff. We get close to finishing the tech cards in this building, but we don't actually manage to fit it in. And you'll see at the end of this video that I do kind of struggle a little bit trying to fit it all inside the one building, and it just won't work. So we're going to end up moving that to the other building next door, I believe. But for now, we're going to run lead and tin into this building. and run the some processed fuel right here. This is the building that we don't have room in. But anyway, um, I ran it separate from that balancer because the balancer seems like for some reason it has been it jumps. Like if you're running a belt next to it, it'll connect both of the belts into one, and I don't want that to happen. So we are separating it out. But we're running processed fuel. We're running lead ore and tin ore into this building, and we're going to smelt them in here. Going up here to add the rest of the iron drills that are required based on the Helmod calculations, and messing up my placement of them very much so. um, I mean, hey, I can only do so much, right? Okay, you got it. Anyway, I think I end up using. Do I can't remember. Do I use? Yeah, I think I. There we go. I use one of the bigger poles to reach as many as I possibly can, and I just use two of the medium-sized power poles instead of one. And this is where I split off the iron ore to come down in here as well, to also get smelted in this building to turn it into iron plates again. On top of that, also running some extra copper in here, even though we're technically going to get enough through the lead. It's really not quite that. What is it? Well, we don't run the copper currently, but we will run that the copper belt. But the lead is only a quarter. It's like for every two or three lead plates, I think you get one copper ore back or something. I think it's three lead plates, one copper ore. And so, in order to do that, to waste that time or waste those resources, I mean, what am I saying? It's not wasting the resources, but it really doesn't give as much as Helmod thinks it does, because it ends up that we don't have the appropriate amount of copper. So I end up running the copper ore in as well. But I decided to use electric furnaces for some of this in here because we had them, and we may as well. And lead is something that we will use for ammunition as well. So it's great to get it faster production. So we're also going to balance these lead plates. We're going to bring this copper ore down, and we're going to smelt it further on down the line. But I'm making a bunch of balancers. I don't know why I didn't place down my sinking workbench and use that, but I guess I decided, okay, let's just build the other furnace stacks while we're doing this. We only need two furnaces for tin plates at the moment. We might make that larger later on, but for now, that's all we can really afford to do. So that's what we're going to do. Now, some of these I am not listening to Helmod on, as far as the ratios for furnaces, because I'm like, well, okay, I've got these furnaces, and I want to have at least two furnaces for each item instead of just one. I feel like it's always best to have a little bit extra, right, coming out of the furnaces, a few extra production points, I guess you could call it, or a few extra furnaces than it is to not, right? At least that's how I feel. But yeah, going ahead and putting the tin furnaces down, and I ran the fuel for that, but I didn't run the fuel for the lead furnaces, so I will fix that soon. Going to place down the furnaces for the iron here, and I still forget to run fuel for these. I don't know why, I just did, and I will fix that in a minute as well. But anyway, I still, I haven't caught it yet. I'm like, oh wait, I need fuel on these lines. you know, uh, you just do. So I separated that, and we have things getting destroyed. So I run down, and there is a base that has moved closer to our base. Things that have, biters that have gotten into our base actually, past our walls, and I have to then go and find that. But I don't think Yeah, I realized it when I looked at the map, I think. Yeah, and I just ran out of ammo, you see. So I'm running back to get more ammo, and I'm going to deal with this base that has then just popped up close to our walls here, because that's a problem, right? And it's I believe it's over on the left-hand side on the edge of the wall, but I needed to fuel up these the turrets, but you can see that. Well, did I notice it? I don't know if I noticed it. Man, I guess I didn't notice it. Well, anyway, if you look, there was a base right there on the left-hand side, right there next to our base, our wall defense there, and I didn't even bother to check in on it. So, yeah, don't do what I do when you're playing this game. Make sure you're double checking everything you can. Anyway, once again, I still forget to fuel up those lead furnaces. Um, I don't know how, but I still do anyway. And I'm just going to copy the lead or the iron furnaces for the copper furnaces here. Um, because I may as well. I mean, it's not a big deal. And that way I can just let the bots do all the work. And I don't have to deal with it, right? So now I'm going to copy that. And like I said, there's not enough copper input from this. And I do run that right next to the other belt balancer. I wonder if that becomes a problem later on. I guess after I finished building this, I didn't bother checking to see if that was a problem or not, but I'll have to go back and look at that. It doesn't seem like it's picking it up, so cool. Anyway, this is where I decided to run the extra copper belt in, because I'm like, well, it's not getting enough copper, so let's just run some more in here. May as well. I mean, it's not hurt anything to have a little bit extra ore through here, and then I run into the problem. Well, now I'm trying to snake this belt along, and I don't have anywhere near the ability to do so because of all this stuff in the way and the way I've run the rest of the belts. But that's just belt spaghetti for you. We've got another wave approaching the base, and I think this is where I finally realize, oh, there's a base right here next to us. You can see there's things already getting damaged down on our southernmost end here. And that's where I look and see, oh, hey, there's the base right there that is expanded. Really, if I had paid attention to the map, I would have seen the expansion chunks and noticed, hey, those are a little further out than usual. Why? But I didn't even notice or care or whatever it was. I didn't see it. But I'm going to deal with it now. It's this big old base right here. There's 3 spitter spawners, 1 biter spawner, 2 worms that have to be dealt with here. So I start with the worms as always because those are the most damaging to me as a player. I have to deal with the spitters and biters attacking me because there were just too many of them, because not only were the ones from this base happening, but also the ones from the bottom. Also, while I'm destroying this base, you can see some of the biters actually went over and decided they wanted to expand in another spot on the left-hand side there. You could have seen the creep just a minute ago, notifying of an expansion party, and you can now see I'm going to kill them so that they can't expand there. Then I'm also coming down here to double check, make sure there's no other bases in this little area here, and there's not. So I decide to let's set up some walls to make it less likely for them to expand into these areas, and it also gives them something to let's turn on the tile grid there, but it also gives them something to attack before they get to my base, so I know if they're coming, right? Whereas now I just have to trust that, you know, the wave and whatever, and I don't know for sure when it ends and what all else. But if you place, I've been watching some other YouTubers, and if you place enough items within the chunks, it'll make it less likely for them to want to expand to that area. And this corner strategy is one that I had found, although I forget who was I watching that I found that on. Oh man, I just do not know. But anyway, this corner strategy is a definite good strategy for finding these bases here, or finding bases, keeping the biters from expanding into our territory. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just running the putting the walls around in the corners, and it is just barely good enough to keep them from wanting to expand there. It turns the chunks from green to orange, which is exactly what we want. So that's great. But I don't remember, man. I watched so many different Factorio Let's Players that it's like it's hard to remember who I was watching. But I don't remember if it was Trupen or Nilaus or something. But it was somebody that uses this strategy a good bit when they do their expansion, trying to keep the biters from expanding. Oh, who was it? Who was it? I'm trying to look through my history here, but I'm going back to the base here. So, but I'm looking through my YouTube history to see if I can remember who it was. I think Michael Hendricks. Michael Hendricks. That's who I was watching. He uses this. Yep, he uses this strategy. So if you like that, go and check. Go, if you think you might like his videos, go and check him out. It's Michael Hendricks on YouTube. MichaelHendricks, Michael Hendricks, and yeah, he's pretty cool. But he does a lot of challenge playthroughs, so if you're interested in challenge playthroughs, that's one place you can go to find them. Definitely, for sure. I really enjoy challenge playthroughs. Another one of the YouTubers I watch is Doshington, and he's pretty cool with his challenges as well. But anyway, just continuing to do this, I still. Oh well, I was talking about not fueling the lead furnaces, completely forgetting that those are electric furnaces and don't need fuel. So there you go. Anyway, I'm gonna run all of these resources over to this other building, the building next door, because that's where we wanted them. And we're going to continue our automations in this building. We've now got copper plates, lead plates, tin plates, and iron plates coming into this building. We're going to get rid of those. We're now going to make some solder in a foundry. Going to say, okay, we're going to use processed fuel because we have it already walking through this building, which was for the phenol, but we just have it coming through here anyway. We're going to combine the lead and the tin plates onto one belt for the solder, because we don't need lead or tin for anything else in the green, the logistics tech cards recipe. So combining them onto one belt now doesn't really change much. We are going to have to get some more sand for, I think, the foundry. So I do go ahead and crush up some more stone. Creating some more sand to make the foundries we need. Going to make two, just because I like to have two of each machine. So this is basically just a big building that is a modded building added to make certain recipes. This version uses fuel. There is also a version that is an electric foundry, but we aren't worried about that right now. So I do still have to put fuel into it, which I haven't done yet. I don't know when I do that, but I know I do eventually do that because I have actually fully automated green science by the end of this video. So I do make the copper wires there. Then I also need flake, or I need graphite, not flake graphite, but I need to change flake graphite into graphite. So that's what I do. Just from, I think, I actually do end up setting an official, like an electric mining drills up instead of just still using the mining depot that we had. So that's what we do next, is to set up an electric mining drill to mine the flake graphite to turn it into regular graphite. So I take 2 drills, I think, or 4 drills, one, set it up. I delete the old graphite setup because it was only temporary to begin with. have the bots clear out these trees here for us, and I'm going to place down the drills. And I think I just do 2 for now, but in the future I think we will expand that possibly because we'll need more graphite. Just going to take the steam setup we've already got and run it up to where we are going with it, just through underground pipes here and running it that way. And I, for some reason, have an uneven amount of undergrounds. I think it's because we got those from abandoned bases on the surface, and so obviously, they're not guaranteed to have 2 underground pipes. But anyway, I delete this crusher, and I'm going to move it. I'm actually going to build a second crusher, and we're going to have 2 crushers working on graphite at all times. I'm going to route the stone in a different direction here, because, well, it saves us the trouble of having to use that area. I'm going to let some of the stone run out of this belt for factory building production, but I am going to delete a good bit of it because I need the space. So now we're going to try and place these 2 crushers in here, and they're not going to go side by side because, well, we don't have the space for it because of our fuel production. So we're instead going to put 1 crusher here, and the other crusher will go on the other side for now. So yeah, 1 crusher is going to go up here, and the other one is going to go right there. And then we will put 2 inserters going in and 2 inserters going out. Not really a good way to do that, but I just end up doing it this way. And that's going to be how it is. Just combine the belts there, run the flake graphite down, and then connect it all up with power lines. And now run the graphite belt on across down through the copper mining area, down past the copper smelting area, just using tons of underground belts because of belt spaghetti, and then over into our building over here for our logistics tech cards. And that workbench is right up against the back of that factory building, but that's okay. We'll put a balancer in there to make it a little bit easier. And now graphite can be acquired from this spot right here. We now are making graphite. We now can make our electronic circuits, the green circuits. We're going to balance the bakelite. We are going to bring it up and around, just rearrange these power poles slightly, and then push it into this building on the corner up here, because we didn't really have any other way to do it. So that's where the bakelite's going to come in. And then we are going to turn it into electronic circuits. And I think I end up combining the bakelite and graphite belts outside of the building because I needed the space inside the building, the connection point, because as you can see, there are no connection points that are easily accessible to the next building, I don't think. But maybe I leave it. But this is where you're going to see me struggle a little bit to fit all of this stuff into this factory building and end up not able to fit it into this factory building, and then move it into the next factory building over, I believe. But we're going to split the copper cable because we need some copper cable for a recipe for the electronic circuits and another section for copper cable for another recipe here. And I run out of transport belts. Sorry, just banged my microphone. Anyway, I run out of transport belts, so I walk down here and pick up some because we have transport belts automated. Hey, that's awesome. It's great that we have automation. I love automation, man. It makes it so much easier. Just let the nanobots build those belts for us. Place down these assemblers for electronic circuits and get them crafting here, and then put those onto a belt to run into our next section, which will be the logistics tech cards. Going to run 2 iron gear assemblers. So I have to get some more iron because I didn't have enough iron. And just trying to clear out my inventory, and still it's just chock full of crap that I don't need. So anyway, I'm going to run these iron plates right here for the time being. So I'm like, well, this seems like a decent spot. It's kind of out of the way. Makes it easier to get these gears in here. And maybe it'll give me enough space to do everything else I need to do. So I get rid of those. And now I'm going to make the blank tech cards by combining, I believe, these three components, or these two components, the iron plates and the copper cable, to make blank tech cards in two different assemblers here. And I'm just not having a good time with space because there's just not a lot of space in here. So that's how I do it originally, and there's really not space to do it there because I can't pull it out of those assemblers without going on the sides. But I instead do it this way, so that's the best I could come up with. But anyway, now I try to fit 8 full-size assemblers in this building to make logistics tech cards. And you can see, sorry, moving my mic around, you can see that that's not going to happen. At first I'm like, just maybe I can squeeze them in, but no, I get 6, and even then there's no way to output from those 3 on the other side, and really no way to output from the others. So I'm like, okay, how can I mess this around? There's some empty space in the middle. Maybe if I move the iron gears over there, maybe I'll have a better luck with it. So that's what I try to do. I try to move these iron gears from here over to the middle section. And my inventory is still full, so I'm just full of crap, you know. But anyway, I don't know why I didn't do this before, but I just moved this joining point over, so I can run these iron plates underneath, and then run the couple of assemblers here to make iron gears, and that I need. And then I'm going to readjust the copper wire components here, just move them over one, and separate them out here. Running the iron gears right next door to them, and moving them over one. Now I try to move these down some, I think, to give more space, or move them over, one of the two. But yeah, so I try to move them over here. My inventory is, once again, still chock full of stuff that I don't need. So I go and empty it out. Finally, I decide to empty it out. Just toss a bunch of ores in here that I'm not going to use. So back into our building, trying to get this to work, and it still is not going to work the best. So I just pick up the iron plates that I dropped, run this along, trying to get more and more space, and I managed to, really save on some space, but it's just not enough to do what I want to do to get these logistics tech cards in this building. I really was hoping to get all of the ingredients for the logistics tech cards in this building, as well as the logistics tech cards in the building, but it just is not going to happen because there's not enough space. So I think I do one more thing by readjusting the electronic circuits, and even then it still is not going to work, right? So I'm like, okay, well, if I run, one belt in, one belt out, maybe I can do that and put both of them in the middle. And then I'm like, oh wait, it takes 4 components to make this recipe, it's not going to work. So there's no possible way to get this to work. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can output on this side and save the space, and then it'll work fine. And it's not going to work. I don't know why I'm thinking it's going to work, but it's just not going to work. So I decide, okay, and it's actually, I think it's 3 components: iron gears, electronic circuits, and then the blank tech cards. Still not going to work, but I'd give it the good old college try anyway. We're just going to sit here and watch me fumble around for a minute. Because that's what I'm doing. He's just fumbling around, trying to do something that's not going to work. But here we go. I mean, we've got, 3 minutes left in this video? Or not 3, 5. And I spent a good another minute and a half looking at this thing, I think. But that's in real time. So now we're going to finally pick it up and be like, okay, I can't get this to work. It's not going to work. Let's just move it. Drink some water. Hydration's important. But anyway, I'm trying to figure out, can I move these electronic circuits somewhere that would make it better to run them? And this is where I decide, okay, let me go ahead and at first I'm like, well, maybe I can move them outside, and that just it doesn't work. I'm like, no, that's just stupid. I'm already using them inside, so let's just go ahead and keep them inside. And so I decide to combine the bakelite and the graphite here and run them into the building on one conveyor belt. So we're not using the extra space for two conveyor belts. And instead of running the solder and copper wires all the way up there, I run the bakelite and the graphite all the way down here. And put the electronic circuits right here instead. So that's what I do. Still doesn't give me the space I need. I was like, okay, well, maybe that gives me enough space to do it all in a row. And no, unfortunately, it does not. So I finally give up at some point. I hope so. I know I give up at some point. I press a bunch of buttons that I didn't mean to. I tried to get to the research. So I'm like, okay, what do we need for the red? Because I'm like, okay, maybe I can do belt weaving, but the red science or the red belts are just going to take too much science that we don't have at the moment. Okay, so I'm like, well, let me just let's run this outside, and I'll do it outside the electronic circuits. But then I still have to run them inside, and I still find out, hey, there's not enough room for that. So give up. But I still go for it anyway. I don't know why, I just do, and I finally, have I finally figured it out? I don't know if I finally figured it out. This took way too long for me to figure out that I couldn't fit it in here, and I'm like, okay, well, let me make another building here. Inside, I'm like, okay, and see, still requires more research. I have to research the second level of factory building, so can't do that. I don't want to make the logistics tech cards in the laboratory building. So instead, I'm going to run these blank tech cards out of the building. That doesn't work because you have to run a straight belt out from the building's output. So I run them into this building and then out of the building, and then run straight through here down into this other building because I wanted everything to be compact. And well, that's the only way I could see to do it. So, yeah. Anyway, I once again put the electronic circuits up here in the corner, and then here we go. Finally, setting them up for the last time, running them onto a belt, and I'm going to combine them with the whatchamacallit, blank tech cards here to get them into this other building. And instead of making iron gears in the top building, I instead make them in this secondary building down here. But just emptying the belts here, connecting the power up, running these in, and then I need iron gears, and I'm like, okay, what can I do for that? Let's delete this because there's no way to get them out except run them through the other building, and I don't want to do that again. So let's delete this and just leave them only for the blank tech cards in here, and I'll just split off right here and push them into this building as well, and make the iron gears down here. So that's what I do. Now finally I've got the assemblers placed down for the green logistics tech cards, running the gears in, and the rest of the components. I really should have done it the other way around, running the double layer on the inside track and making those fast inserters, but I did it on the outside, and that's okay. Then I'm going to output them onto a belt and run them up into our science building. So awesome, I don't have enough aluminum for the balancer that I need, so I run and get some more aluminum. I make the balancer. I'm going to run this belt up. Once again, another wave of biters has appeared. Running this belt up for the green science, running it down into this area, and I'm going to put it on one side of a belt because I know there's going to be another science card to run into it. Things are getting destroyed, but I'm like, okay, come on, please just let me finish this science. All I've got to do is put it here, set these recipes, and then I'll be good. So I let the biters destroy things for a minute, and they're actually destroying a fair bit of stuff. because they managed to get all the way down here inside the base. They almost destroyed our radar. That's because we don't have any gates on the base, and we're just running this conveyor belt straight through the wall. I don't know, looking back at it, I really don't know why I'm running the conveyor belts through the wall by destroying the wall instead of running them under the wall with underground belts. It doesn't make any sense, but I do it anyway, because all that does is give the buyers a free entrance if they want to get in. And it just so happens that they haven't done that before until just then. So, that's a change we'll probably make in the next episode, is to actually put walls and underground belts instead of just deleting the walls and running the whatchamacallit through. But yeah, and I just now noticed there's some walls over there that haven't been rebuilt. But anyway, so I'm back down here fixing up the wall because they always attack us here, and they're still attacking us here. I don't think I actually go up to the coal. Well, I need to go up to the coal area, and that's what I'm doing now. But I'm just trying to fix all the damage that the biters caused. Repair everything. I don't fully repair the radar until just now. But yeah, so this whole thing got just obliterated. This balancer was gone, so I rebuilt that. More things are getting destroyed. Those are just the stone walls that we placed down to keep them from expanding into that area. And here's the problem. Huge biter base right next to our coal area. We're going to be taking care of that in the next episode. So anyway, that's going to be about it for this episode, because I didn't want to get into that big old fight when I'm already at 38 minutes of recording. But anyway, our stonewall little thing is completely destroyed at this point. But yeah, I do destroy some biters, and I'm like, well, this is going to take forever to destroy their bases. And I don't have the ammunition, really, or the help, or the support. There's just way too many worms in this base. But anyway, I fight them for a minute, and I'm like, okay, let's just call this off. I'll deal with this later. But yeah, you see how fast I was losing health. I used up all my med kits fighting off these stinking things. I think I kill all the worms, and then I give it up. But anyway, I'm gonna leave you with this. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. But this is me signing off, and I've been producing videos. Thanks for watching.